Welcome to the Ecommerce Marketing Podcast, the highly rated digital marketing podcast that provides weekly digital marketing tips and strategies from some of the world's top digital marketers and e-commerce entrepreneurs that will help you take your digital marketing to the next level. Sit back and enjoy this power-packed episode hosted by Arlen Robinson, who is an e-commerce entrepreneur and digital marketing expert with over 20 years of experience. Hey, e-commerce marketing podcast listener. Are you looking to increase traffic and sales to your website? You can do this by launching your own affiliate program. Just visit getosi.com and sign up for a free trial today. That's getosi.com. Now get ready to hear from your e-commerce marketing expert of the week as they drill down to give you details on marketing strategies that can help grow your business.
Welcome back to the E-commerce Marketing Podcast, everyone. My name is Arlen Robinson, and I'm your host. And today we have a very special guest, Reinis Krumins, who is the co-founder of Agency JR, which is an e-commerce email marketing agency working with your favorite 7- and 8-figure brands. His team has generated over $30 million in email sales in the past 3 years. Welcome to the podcast, Reinis.
Happy to be here. To be fair, within this intro, it feels like imagine you're at a restaurant and, your friends tell your waiters you have a birthday and you have, someone that comes to you singing a happy birthday and they're just praising you and whatnot. Intro is amazing. It just a quick reminder as well.
I know how you feel anytime kind of you hear somebody introduce yourself.
Yes.
You got to get that feeling.
Yeah.
Waiters are going to come by and start singing happy birthday. Well, yeah, that's awesome, Reinis. Well, I'm super excited to talk to you. Today, mic boom here. Today we're going to be diving deep into product launches with email marketing. How to successfully announce a product launch using email marketing. And so I know email marketing is your agency's bread and butter. So you're able to, enlighten us a little bit on that. But before we do get into that topic of today, why don't you tell us a little bit more about your background and, specifically how you got into what you're doing today?
Fair point. To be fair, as most marketers or people who have been in sales, I think those are the two most common verticals where no one really grows up to think, I'm going to be a marketer, right? For the most part. It's kind of something where you try to start a business or you try to work on something and you realize, you built this beautiful landing page and a product and you fall back into marketing, you fall back into sales. It's something you only start to think about, once you've, started your passion, started your business and whatnot. And I kind of come from a similar background. In a way for me, this started when I was a fitness influencer at like 15. And then I wanted to start monetizing my audience. So that was when I seriously got into business, which later led me to try to seek a bigger opportunity in the form of, instead of doing influencer marketing, I wanted to go to businesses and then show them how they can grow their own social media. At that point in my country, it didn't work that well. Primarily because the mindset was very limited. And this is back in 2017. It's where the US was only starting to catch on social media marketing and big brands were starting to do it properly. In our country, literally 3 years ago max, it was the same level as US was in 2017. So this led me to kind of pivoting from just focusing on a small market in, Europe to, seeing the bigger picture. And I turned my eyes to the US. I always loved the US market, loved the businesses. I felt like, you can always make more money there.
Yeah. Reinis, that seemed to
complex. Yes. Can you hear me now?
Yeah. We're good.
Yes. So it's not as complex as other markets. So it's easier to start and relatively easy to scale.
Okay.
So then I basically started networking with people online. One thing led to another. All of a sudden, we're building chatbots for an e-commerce store in the US. This led me to the same brand wanting to work with me on a deeper level. I started doing email marketing, got referred to another company called Motivated Fit. So it was a course created by a guy named John Batia. So he right now is working at Privative Skateboarding, a great e-commerce brand. and also Brandon Schramm, who is a celebrity trainer, coaching Jennifer Lopez, The Game, Prince Royce, and they created a course online together, and we helped them with email marketing, and this kind of rolled off into more and more referrals, us working with bigger brands, us working with brands such as Big Tricks, us working even on Jordan Belfort for a while. Okay. Not related to email marketing, but we were helping write landing pages and whatnot. Gotcha. Yeah, all of those were exciting times, and now we've grown to around 50, 60 people in the team, and we're working with around 80, 90 brands actively right now.
Wow, that's awesome. Yeah, quite a story. How you mentioned you came from being a fitness influencer, and you kind of leveraged your experience there into, marketing in that particular arena, kind of the fitness and nutrition space. And then we're able to that kind of propelled you into it. So good stuff. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. I appreciate that. Where I want to kind of start with our conversation, as I mentioned, product launches with regards to email marketing. These days, email marketing historically over the past, I want to say maybe 10 years or so, has always gotten kind of a bad rap. There was always a period of time where, as I know, and our listeners probably know, where, email was like a dirty word. You never send a mass email out to customers or prospective customers,
spamming and everything.
Spamming, yeah, that's spamming. And, it was like people were trying to do a lot of other things. But when it comes down to it, I think we're kind of past that phase, where now companies still realize that there is an extreme amount of value in email and doing email marketing. And so when we're talking about email marketing to, announce a particular product launch for a e-commerce brand, what do you think are some of the most effective ways? It all really comes down to is the actual email list. So what do you think is one of the most effective ways, or some ways that an e-commerce brand can acquire either an email list or
right,
to grow and announce their brand or build it? What would you suggest?
Yeah. So I will tell you this, email marketing, it's a supportive marketing mechanism. So if your business, imagine, your paid ads, for example, from a marketing perspective, paid ads, SEO, and things that drive new traffic to your site as the backbone. Email marketing is the ribcage. It attaches to it. It's like a supportive marketing mechanism. So first things first, if you think that email marketing is going to build your business, you can buy a list and start it that way, you've already lost. Email is something that should be done for businesses that are already relatively successful. Typically, if we look at a maths perspective for your ROI, a minimum of 30, 50K a month in sales. That's how much you should be generating for you to make a significant ROI from email marketing. With product launches might be different, and I'll talk a bit more about that, but it's just taking a step back and looking at the fundamentals. The product launches themselves, we have 4 main phases we go through, and we've done this for brands that we're starting off nothing. A company selling a fitness app for them. I can't reveal the brand's name, unfortunately, but we did 251K in 24 hours from nothing. Mm-hmm. We had another company, skincare company, Manila. Last year, we did 136K euros with 1 email send. And that was, again, because of the strategy. And it's not because of the 1 email we sent, but it's of the things we did before and after. So whenever you're launching your product, I'll make 2 assumptions. So the first option I'll tell you about is for people who already have a business that's making $1 million a year. Let's say, 600K to, 10 million plus. There, you already have an email list. You already have your audience, which you can use and leverage, right? So for you, the story is a bit, simpler in a way, but still a lot of tactics apply. Mm-hmm. So the 4 phases we go through, phase 1 is the hype up. So we get people excited and we tease the product. We showcase maybe the outline of the product, and, start a conversation with the audience. If you have, for example, a community, like I had a conversation with the founders of my Obvi, the supplement brand. They're the 2nd largest collagen protein group. They're able to leverage that community, start conversations, and figure out which products their community wants to have launched. And then with email, we can tease them a little bit. We can make people sign up to the email list or even the SMS list to get early access, quicker access before, it launches to the site to everyone. That's kind of like phase one. Phase two we dive into is the either the pre-sale or the commitment phase. So this is where you can do a lot of interesting stuff for a brand that either has existing business or existing business. By that I mean existing email list, or even if you don't, a cool tactic you can run here is have a funnel where people can opt in to get early access, and then immediately you take them to sales page where they can pre-order the product. Mm-hmm. This product would be on a discounted rate, but that way, if you have a new product, you can fund the product through your customers. And if you're unsure whether the product would work, this is a way for you to validate without much risk. Mm-hmm. Because if the product doesn't work out and people don't buy it as much as you thought people would, you don't have to order as much stock. And this can also, help you with finances, figuring out how much stock you need. Mm-hmm. This can also help you reimburse and kind of publicly fund the product's costs with maybe whichever molds you might need to buy, and so on and so forth. That's a very creative way to launch your product. Mm-hmm. What this also allows you to do is to run paid ads, these product launches. Typically collecting emails through paid ads, like Legion forms and whatnot, don't work well. Because when you optimize for cheap emails, you get emails with no intent. With this, instead, you have a validation source where you can see whether people are buying or not. And if they are buying, the emails you're getting, they're high quality. They are people who have funding. Because if you just do leads, you can get people who probably, a lot of times where they don't have, they don't have the highest interest. They're just, on Facebook to leave their email in a bunch of places. So Facebook optimizes and shows their ads to these people. Once you've gotten people to commit by either just signing up to get early access without a pre-sale page on step 2, or even having the pre-sale page and getting people to pre-order product, we move into the next stage, which is the big sale launch. Mm-hmm. In between this big sale launch, we basically keep people updated and keep them posted on when the products are going to be launching, the updates of the product. If you have even footage from, your manufacturing facility, packing the products and, putting them into boxes, showing that is also very exciting because you take your customers along on a journey of this new product being launched. Right. For the big sale launch, we make a huge announcement. Typically for the email list, we give them a couple of hours head start to purchase the product before other people can. This also induces real scarcity, because if you can sell out with just email, the people who didn't get to buy the product, they have real scarcity, and the product might be out of stock for a specific amount of time. But with this, we typically would send out 2 emails the same day, one in the morning and then one in the afternoon to the people who didn't open the emails. And then we move into phase 4, which is the follow-up, where we follow up with the people who haven't purchased the new product yet. They weren't on the early birds list. Mm-hmm. It's general email list, so on and so forth. Yeah. This is like an overview of the strategy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's great, and I appreciate you breaking it down like that. One of the key things that really stuck out to me is that you mentioned the success that you've had with the email campaigns that you've helped your clients to kind of go through and manage. The key thing is what you do before and after the actual sending of the email. A lot of times I think, businesses think that it's just kind of magic. You send out this blast email and people are going to magically flock to your site, purchase your product, and it's just, that's it. They just sit back and start collecting their
Well, look, a great case study of this is actually a German public company which entered into, for example, our market, the country I'm from, Latvia. Yep. For a month before you could even buy a product, they were buying up influencer ads, TV ads, billboards. Obviously, they have a huge marketing budget, but it shows this, this repetition before you launch builds trust. Yep. If you're launching a new product, even if it's your customers who are your fans, they still might be skeptical, right? Because they don't know what they're buying. It doesn't have reviews yet, doesn't have nothing yet. But through frequency, through just this familiarizing with the product, you can build trust and you can actually generate more sales.
Yeah. For sure, for sure. Would you say that this whole process, the kind of journey that you described, stepping people through various phases of, the product development, showing people,
Yes.
What you guys are, what's happening behind the scenes, going all the way to the manufacturing, getting ready to ship it out, showing that process, would you kind of consider the email exchanges or emails that you're sending out during that time? Would that be kind of considered, I guess you could say, kind of in email terminology, we like to think of it maybe as warming up your list, so to speak, where
100%.
you're not just blasting
100%.
out a final
Yes.
email when everything is done. Is that what you kind of think of it as?
100%. You even have a couple of cool tactics, and this is something we're doing for Q4, where we actually send people warm-up emails, and so these are purely plain Jane emails, text-based emails. We ask the people to reply to the email, or we bait them into replying to the email, because as a result, what happens when someone replies to your email is your send from address gets saved into their contacts book on their ESP.
Right.
So then the next emails you send, whether that's a product launch, whether that's a sale, 6 months from now, it's going to go to their primary folder.
Gotcha. Yeah, very good tactic. That's very important where, you want it to go into that primary folder and not into their newsletter folder where it's just going to kind of get lost in the shuffle. So that makes sense. Yeah. Definitely, for sure. Now, I know you've been in the industry for a while. You guys have used various tools and things to do this. Obviously, you're going to need some type of platform to make all of this happen. What are some specific email marketing tools that you recommend, that you're familiar with, that e-commerce business should think about using?
If you do e-commerce, you have two main options, Omnisend and Klaviyo. You have MailChimp, but MailChimp is like, imagine you have three cars in front of you. You have a Bugatti, you have a Lamborghini, and then you have like a Fiat 500, a very tiny car. Right. You're not going to go in the Fiat 500 and go to MailChimp. It's dumb. Your competition is going to smoke you. Right. You really have the two options between Omnisend and Klaviyo. Personally, I've used Klaviyo throughout when we started. I actually went to their office. Okay. Here's a little gift I had. I went to their office 2 weeks ago. Wow. Klaviyo is the best.
Okay.
I have checked out and tried Omnisend for a bit. Klaviyo is, generally speaking, a lot easier to use and easier to optimize. A better UI, and that's what I recommend. And I believe most of the brands who are going to be here, they're going to use Klaviyo. Klaviyo gets funded by Shopify.
Okay.
Their preferred tool.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, you're not the only person that I've had on that's mentioned Klaviyo, and it's kind of highly regarded as the kind of the go-to email marketing solution for
That's right.
So
that's right.
Yeah, makes sense. And that's good to hear, because these days, as we know, there are a ton of tools. There's a lot of different options out there when it comes to email marketing. But yeah, the specific thing is with Klaviyo, it was developed with e-commerce businesses in mind, and so you kind of can't go wrong with that. One thing that I was thinking about when it's coming with regards to, email marketing, you mentioned a lot about the creation of, this whole journey. You're kind of taking the customer through a journey via email. I think a lot of times, sometimes businesses may struggle with how do you coordinate a particular journey via email that you're taking your customer through with content and things that you put out via social media, because all of these things do really have to be in sync, because you don't want to mention things prematurely, or you mention things after the fact that people may already be aware of because you've posted it on your socials. There's a lot of things that have to kind of.
The answer is simple. Mm-hmm. The answer is simple. Number one, create a content calendar. Okay. See what's going on social media and email marketing. Align it. Okay. If you have that's the thing. We work with a lot of people where they have their media buying teams, social media teams, and we're an outsourced company, right? Mm-hmm. We have a content calendar team. Their marketing managers approve it, and we shift things around. As simple as that. That's the simplest solution.
Yeah.
Maybe another question. I guess that might be a deeper question within this is how to write emails that convert, right? Because it's another channel. Really, email marketing is about giving people ideas. Mm-hmm. That's the simplest mindset shift you can have there. A great example for this is there's a company, I had a call with them 2 weeks ago. They sell skiing equipment, so skiing jackets and pants. And they're a very seasonal business. Deal with seasonality. They started selling swimming shorts. And now, we're going into winter time and they have the swimming short stock left over. And they're trying to figure out what to do with it. Because every day it stays, in their warehouse, it costs them money. I told them, look, you don't need to sell this to, I don't know, what was it? Marshalls or something like that, right?
Right.
But what we can do instead is we can have an email, giving them an idea. And this idea is like, look, you purchase, for example, your skiing equipment. You're going to go to a resort. What's the resort going to have? A pool. Right. Your shorts that are going to, fit with it. This is kind of like a general idea of the email, the big angle. But a lot of times it's just giving people ideas. If you sell someone a bag, your job to upsell them, you might have like a store that only sells one bag. With email marketing, your job to get people to buy that bag again is to tell them how they can buy it as a gift for their mother, grandmother, girlfriend, so on and so forth. You need to give people ideas because we are simple human beings. It's monkey see, monkey do. Kind of, right? We see like, hey, okay, cool bag, I buy for myself. Cool bag, they tell me to buy for my mother. You are right. Let's get it, right? So that's how you can also write the emails that convert.
Yeah, makes sense for sure. You got to lead people to the proverbial fountain. They're not going to just drink from it, even though they're thirsty. You got to lead to it. So that's awesome, and thanks for sharing that. And as we get ready to wrap things up, Reinis, I wanted to see if you don't mind sharing a few examples of maybe some a particular e-commerce brand that you've worked with that has gone through this process of announcing a product launch via email, and what were some kind of specific things that they did that they had success with?
So with this, kind of like what I went over, Manila, the skincare company, we did that with them. So like I broke down the structure.
Okay.
I broke down the structure there. Another thing was the fitness app. For them, the reason really why we did a product launch, so it was we did 251K in 24 hours for a fitness company. They started from scratch. Yep. And really a great way to drive traffic, and this is another tactic for them, was they used an influencer. And the way you can drive sales with an influencer is we aligned all the marketing material to have the influencers pictures, influencers branding. So it looks like a real collab between, for example, the product and the influencer. So you can leverage their authority. You can buy promotions on their page. Yeah. And then instead of you, for example, paying, I don't know, you spend $4,000 on a couple of promotions that push people to your brand. Yeah. What we can do instead is we can build an opt-in page that looks like it's something that they have built, that they have really worked on. And they might have given input into the product. And you can have ridiculous conversion rates. 30% of if you have a very, very good opt-in page. And actually on Twitter, I shared in a resource post the exact landing page structure, which I can send you after the call to put in the footnotes as well. If you have that landing page structure, you can get a 20-30% opt-in rate. Wow. And then you get a lot of emails. In the case of that fitness influencer, we collected around 40,000 emails. Yep. And that's a list we can send emails to whenever I want to. I don't need to ask the influencer for permission. I don't need to ask, Facebook, hey, can I spend more money on, advertising now? I own that. Yeah. But again, going back to email marketing, you don't look at it as a primary marketing channel. It's a supportive channel. Channel.
Makes
sense. That would be maybe giving out the tactic. Another cool life hack we've seen with Q4. This is just like a Q4 specific thing. Mm-hmm. Launch products in Q4. Mm-hmm. Launch products in Q4. People are looking for gifts.
Yeah.
During Black Friday, Cyber Monday. Launch products before Black Friday, Cyber Monday. Launch products on Black Friday, Cyber Monday. Launch products after, because you have that void, in between BFCM and then Christmas. People are going to want to buy gifts. Mm-hmm. And this is something how we can keep sales high throughout the entirety of Q4, not just for Singles Day, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and Christmas. You can keep sales very high if you launch products. And then this also gives you an edge over your competition, because the consumers in niche are going to talk about you, because you have new stuff when your competition doesn't.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's some great advice for sure. Because that's where everybody's eyes are on. What can I buy? Well, I got a million and one gifts to get. How do I get those gifts? And everybody wants something unique. They don't want the same old thing that they got last year. So yeah, I like that, definitely, for sure. And the fact that you mentioned leveraging the power of these influencers by using their kind of authority, their reach, their brand, and creating a landing page around that. Like you said, it almost is like this is something that the influencer put together, but you're just working really kind of collaboratively with them because you're using their image, their likeness, and then that goes a long way. And so that's also some great stuff. Reinis, well, I definitely learned a lot today for sure. I know our listeners and viewers have as well. It was great having you on. Lastly, before we do let you go, I always like to switch gears here so our audience can get to know you a little bit better. If you don't mind sharing one closing fun fact about yourself that you think we would be interested to know.
That at the age of 7, the government took me in, and they tried to build, in the US you have Captain America. The same thing they tried to build in Latvia. So I'm Captain Latvia. They did testosterone tests. They took me through very intensive training. Okay. So right now I'm actually 12 years old and I've grown a beard.
That's funny.
No, but the terrible joke aside, yeah, I don't know. I don't know much. To be fair, I'm a very, very ordinary human being. Just decided to go down this path and got some success here. I do focus a lot on self-improvement, from not just in business or in a monetary sense, but also from your health and wellness standpoint, relationships, and something I'd like to. Actually, 2 lessons I want to, leave as takeaway lessons. Number 1, recession is, a big risk. The biggest thing that people deal with in a recession is they start cutting back on spend, and they start, they go into scarcity mindset. Instead, what you should do is you should realize the market is shrinking, but this means that you can take market share. And once the market expands back, outside of a recession, you'll be able to beat your competition. And if you're doing 2 million in sales right now, with a recession, you might scale down to, 1 million. But if you can keep up your spend, you might be at 1.5. And this 1.5 could be an equivalent of 5 million in yearly revenue. I'm just throwing random numbers out here, but that's how you should look at it. And think about how you can spend the same amount of money on marketing, still during a recession. It might mean you launching your products. It might mean even you consolidating your offering and killing stuff that doesn't work that well. It might mean you going outside of the traditional media buying platforms, Facebook, Google, YouTube, and going to the different verticals. And as a CTA, from my end as a marketer, if you want to learn a bit more about how we do these product launches or just chat with me and ask me questions, hit me up at email Reinis on Twitter, Instagram. So it's email Reinis. Or you can just hop off to our site as well, agencygr.com, and book a call.
All right. That's awesome, Reinis. Thank you for sharing that. And you almost had me with that Captain America joke. For a minute, I was like, okay, after this podcast, I'm going to have to hit Reinis up and see how I can get some of that super soldier serum.
Super soldier serum. Yeah. I'm not on juice. Fully natty.
Got it. I hear you. But yeah, good one though. And thank you for joining us. Appreciate it. I've learned a lot. I definitely encourage our listeners and viewers to reach out to you if they want to pick your brain anymore about email marketing and how they can benefit their business. Thank you for joining us today, Reinis, on the E-commerce Marketing Podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for listening to the E-commerce Marketing Podcast. If you've enjoyed this episode, be sure to rate, review, subscribe, and share it with everyone you know. Are you looking to take your digital marketing to the next level, but are tired of weeding through countless YouTube videos with unproven and untrusted marketing strategies? Well, we have the answer for you. The More Sales Every Month online digital marketing course. In this information-packed course, you will learn effective keyword research, link building, content marketing, and much more to attract and convert your site visitors into paying customers. Just go to moresaleseverymonth.com and sign up today for a low one-time fee. In addition to this power-packed course, if you would like to get access to a growing repository of digital marketing articles, PDFs, and ebooks, check out getosi.com/resources and opt in to get full access to our library of priceless marketing information to help you take your digital marketing to the next level.